Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ham Radio Basics Live, Season 4, Episode 29, Ham Radio News and Updates 7/22/2026. Hope everybody's doing well. Got a full house already here today. Oh, wow, coolly. Hope it went well. Mine's coming up in October. That's congratulations, fellow classmate of 1976. Awesome. That's great to hear, Cooley. Andy, welcome. Good to see you too, my friend. Let's see who else is here. KY4TRK, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. James, oh yeah, okay, all right. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Actually, believe it or not, some legit ham radio news, a big announcement today that came out from Zyeu. We're going to take a look at that before we get into the presentation today, but kind of was, wow. I mean, you know, don't expect to see big news all the time with ham radio, but yeah, I bet it was, Cooley. I'm really looking forward to mine. I went 10 years ago. I took my wife and had the time of my life. Had a total blast. We had a mixer on Friday night before the actual reunion at a small bar, and then we had the reunion at a country club. Going to kind of do the same thing this time. They're having a small mixer at a Elks Club kind of a thing in the local area, and then on Saturday night have a nice dinner at a country club. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a great active website, a great active group out there. I've been involved with it. Just great to see a lot of folks. Really, really, really good. So I'm really looking forward to it. So the big news, Zyeu came out with an announcement today. And we're just going to kind of dive into that here. I mean, this is just like, wow, I could not believe it. It's like, you know, you don't really see, you know, you would like to see more, but, you know, it's not always there. But, well, you know what I mean. Okay. So let's go ahead. I put together this infographic here. Zyeu is coming out with a GZ7250. It's a HF 50 megahertz all-mode transceiver. It also does 6 meters. And I'm going to take a look at some of the things. It lists the frequency coverage here. And you guys, if you want a copy of this infographic, email me at hamradiobasics@gmail.com. I'll be happy to send this, guys, to you. It talks about power. It's 100 watts. Wow. I mean, that's fantastic. It lists the power requirements, physical requirements, receiver performance, typical. It lists it here. I mean, they already have all the specs out for this already as well. SDR technology, broadband receiver, high performance roofing filters, powerful DSP, advanced DSP, waterfall and spectrum, which is real nice, versatile I/O, user friendly, connectivity. It shows what the connectivity is like on the back of it. As far as the ports are concerned, there's a USB port, which is good on that. Memory and operating frequencies, memory channels 500, quick memories 10, scan functions full band programmable. That looks good. Transmitter performance, output power 100 watts. Wow, that's fantastic. Spurious emissions 70 dB down. Mic gain range 0 to 100. CW keying, full break-in, semi-break-in. Vox built-in with adjustable delay, compressor. ALC built-in and adjustable. Who's this for? Base station, portable field, contesting, DXing, digital modes, and everyday operating. How does it compare? You know, they're comparing it to a G90, which is okay, but a G90 is really kind of like a QRP radio if you really want to go to it. The bottom line, the Zyeu GZ7250 brings together 100 watts of power, excellent receiver performance, a modern SDR platform, and a beautiful display in a compact package. is a serious transceiver for serious operators at a price that's hard to beat. Well, we really kind of don't know what the price is yet on this or not. And I'm going to take a, I want to go ahead and jump over here and let's see if yeah, it actually did that. This is actually what it looks like. And you can go out to, I'll drop the link for Radio Oddity in the chat. Yeah, Cooley, I am too. I'm very interested in this. And I want to talk about this here in a second. Okay. That's the link out of Radio Oddity. You can sign up to get more information. There's no pricing on this yet. There's no estimated time of when this is going to be coming in, but this is what it looks like. There's the 100-watt amp behind that as well too, and it talks about that here. I mean, all the specs are out on this, which is fantastic. And the good thing about this, and I'm going to say this being I'm a FCC snob, but not in the good sense of the word. From what they're doing to my drone hobby, but seeing that all this is out there is, yeah. The size of the screen, Cooley. I wish it could be a little bit bigger, but what I like about this is it's a minimal type of interface. There's not a lot in there. About $1,200. Okay, Andy, you probably are right. My whole thing with this is okay. Zyeu is a hit or a miss, okay? And they had a real hit with the G90. I think that's been one of their most popular radios, and it's performed exceptionally well. I think it's outlived its life by tenfold. People still buy it. It's still a great radio. It's, for lack of a better term, it's a QRP radio because it's only 20 watts, but still, people really like it. I know Walt from Sully Walt, he uses it all the time. That was his claim to fame, and how he started his channel was on the G90, and make some great contacts on it. And the 6200, I had the 6200, I sent it back. It was not my cup of tea. I mean, it would top out at 8 watts for QRP, and I'm like, no, QRP needs to top out at 10 watts. The performance on that was just not right. I had the 6100 as well, and that had some overheating issues, and I sold that before we discovered a lot about that heating issues. I'm cautiously optimistic with this one, guys. I'm really hoping that this is gonna bode well, that we're gonna get the Zyeu's really taken a lot of the feedback seriously, and that they put together what looks like a great user interface right here, and hopefully it will translate into a great radio for us. I'm really, really, really crossing my fingers on this, really crossing my fingers, and hoping to see that that it will perform up to its specs. The specs look absolutely fantastic. As far as that's concerned, I'm real excited about that. So we'll see. As more comes out about it, I'll be sure to drop information out there and let you guys know about this. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. What I'm really excited to see is to see somebody get their hands on it, like Jason or Josh or somebody, and do a first use kind of video out of it and get their thoughts and see what it's like, because until somebody gets in there and really, pushes all the buttons and checks everything off, you really kind of don't know what you're going to get out of this. That's why I really, really want to see something like that. But I think it's going to be great. I think it's a great thing and bring some excitement. I mean, really, we've really not really had a lot to go to talk about. I know ICOM's going to have their announcement coming up at the Tokyo Ham Fair for their mystery radio, which a lot of people have guessed what it is, but we'll that's to be decided. We'll see on that, but we'll see on this. This sounds like it's something promising. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, Andy, you're right on the price as far as the price is concerned. I'm thinking it may be a little bit more. I think it may be about 1,500, but we'll see. But for 100 watts and a compact thing like that, yeah, Cooley, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think Theo will probably be one of the first people to get that. And I've worked with Radio Oddity before too, and I can tell you, that Radio Oddity is just a fantastic company, and I really like dealing with them. Their customer service has been second to none. It's been really exceptional. Anytime I've had issues or concerns or questions, they've gotten back to me, and I've really appreciated them. And all in all, I think they make some good products. And you have to look beyond just some of the transceivers that they build. They do have some good antennas out there. I really like some of their options as far as that's concerned. Some of their smaller radios are good as well too. Some of their handhelds are pretty good. They have some DMR radios as well. So it's a good place to check some things out. And it's you got to be careful. You got to have a discerning eye when you go out there. But all in all, let's give it a shot. Let's see how it is. And I think you're right, Cooley. I think TO may be one of the first ones to get one and to fire it up and to see what it's like and to see what we're going to get. I mean, it has a spectrum, it has a waterfall. It's like maybe a mini 7300. I don't know. We'll see. The only thing that, one of the things I did see was, on the back with the ports and everything, I don't see anything regarding like, the world for me. I'd like to see an HDMI on the back of there, but obviously it's not going to have that. So, because I'd like to be able to maybe hook that up to a larger display for something like that along those lines, kind of like wishful thinking. But we'll see. It's to be decided, and hopefully it'll come out soon. Drop the link for Radio Oddity in the comments if you guys are interested. Definitely sign up to get more. They have something about a group to join to get more information on it. It's not a Facebook group, but feel free to do that. I don't know. I just briefly looked at it before the show started just to let you guys know. But all in all, I think that's going to be a real hit. And I think they've really got something on their hands there. We'll see. Hopefully TO will get one of these soon, and we'll find out what's going on here. Okay. All right. Today, the main topic is 10 things to prepare before installing your ham shack. Because, setting up a ham shack is a wonderful experience, but it really takes a lot of planning, probably more planning than just about anything that you're going to do in ham radio, because you got to think not only present day, you got to think future, and you want to make sure that you kind of covered all your bases. And it can be interesting. You don't know a lot of these things when you get into it, but the more planning that you do, the better you will end up being, and the better your shack will end up being as well too. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right here. Now, the first thing is you want to choose a good room. Now, obviously, what I did was because, it's easier for me to use AI to create rooms and everything. I created a room right here, and you can see there's 3 outlets on the wall. There's a spot for cable access on the wall as well, too. And there's good ventilation up in the top and the ceiling. You can see the AC ductwork up there as well. It's big enough that this would allow for, obviously, future growth. This looks like, and I envision this to be like a spare bedroom kind of a thing. And this room has a nice large picture window, which is always good to have that. The antenna is already erected in the background. It's a 50-foot tower that's out there. But we're going to talk about the antenna coming up here in a minute. Okay, and you want to plan your power requirements, and it shows the shack already set up here, but dedicated circuit, and you can see right here, in the middle, you can take a look and see, there's 2 13.8 volt power supplies down here. And it's just for illustration for purposes. I have 2 Bioenno batteries as backups here as well too. Obviously things are hooked up and connected and back. And without doubt, there's a surge protector and a generator. Now, I probably have mentioned to some of you guys, we have a generator powered by natural gas out there living in the state of Florida. It's kind of a must to have that with hurricanes coming, and really saved our bacon a year ago when we were without power for almost 4 days. We were business as usual here, which was fantastic. So, but we have a generator as well too, so that's another source of backup power as far as that's concerned. Design your antenna system first, and this is something you really have to really plan well in advance of, because a lot of areas there's HOA concerns. Obviously, where I live, we can only do like a flagpole type of antenna where we live, and the antenna type. You want to do a vertical. You want to do it on a tower. More often than not, you want, and if it's not HOA friendly, you got to find a way to maybe. I know there are those gutter antennas that you can use, and there's some other ways to cleverly disguise. You can probably use some end-fed half waves up in trees. See, I can't use. We have a wonderful tree right outside this window right here, but I can't use that, but because the tree is maintained by the community. We have a lawn service that comes and maintains it, so I can't do something like that. But the option for me is going to be a flagpole, but it's limited to 20 feet. So we'll see about making that work. And then of course a lightning plan, because where we live right now, and I'm going to give you guys a little story here. Where we live right now, it's unofficially Tampa's the lightning capital of the world, hence that's why they named the hockey team the Lightning. But on Sunday afternoon, I could swear we had a lightning strike in the yard. It was so loud. I mean, it literally is something that made you jump out of your seat. It was just incredible. Knocked the power out for a couple of minutes. Our generator did not kick back in. But then I try to get back online, and I see that our internet's down. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I look at my router. I had an Asus router. The router was gone. It must have gotten fried. Even through, I have a Belkin surge protector. Boom, it was gone. Just no questions asked. And the internet was down for over a day, which was nice. What was nice was I have a Netgear mobile hotspot that we were able to use for work for both my wife and I, and also for home use. And it didn't skip a beat as far as that was concerned. It worked. Both of my TVs and my printer as well too. That was great. That's a monthly service fee that I'm gladly pay because I have that available, and it's also available for when we go out of town, like the motels and hotels, and being able, instead of getting their crappy Wi-Fi, get some good solid Wi-Fi. So yeah, lightning plan. Yeah, that's something that you got to plan for. And as I told my wife, I tried to explain some things to her about lightning and we're going to get into grounding here in a minute. But one of the things you really need to take it seriously, and there are instances, and I know you guys have seen this as well too. Network, Andy, yeah, that's a good thing. That's absolutely, you're right. There are some instances where you can do the best planning in the world. You can have the best grounding system in the world. You can have disconnects, everything. Lightning can jump through connections. If it's a direct hit, look out. You just better pray that it doesn't start a fire. I mean, that's the only thing that you really can do. You plan for the worst and you hope for the best. And with something like lightning, you just don't know. And because we live in an area where it's frequented, anytime you see it, you want to just disconnect your antennas immediately from your radios. I mean, and I also too, I would shut off my power supplies as well too, just for grins and giggles. I mean, you can't be too careful, and also too, this also teaches you to make sure that you look at getting insurance for your receivers, which a lot of people do through ARRL. That's something that I highly recommend. So yeah, you want to be careful of that. The feed line route, how you're going to be running the coax into up to your house, getting a pass through installed. We got to dig through concrete block to do that here. So that's going to be an interesting choice. Although I know DirecTV did it in the back, so I'm assuming that I could get somebody to help me with that as well too. So there's a lot of planning, especially this is probably a phase where you really need to pay a lot of attention to what you're doing with that, because you want to bury your coax deep enough, but not too deep, where it's not going to be bothered by those that who cut your lawn. We have a lawn service here in the community that does that for us. So just some food for thought. Oh, okay, Jeff. Thank you. All right. Install proper grounding. And this is kind of an infographic that's up here. And if any of you want at any time, any of these PowerPoint presentations, I'll be more than happy to send you a copy of that. Just email me at hamradiobasics@gmail.com and I'll get you a copy of that. But this is a really good infographic that I did on here. 8-foot ground rods, connected steel, space at least 6 feet apart, drive at least 6 feet into the ground clamps, coax protectors, ground wire, ground bus bar, sledgehammer, ground rod driver, wrench set, wire cutters, crimp tool, drill and bits, coax cable. It shows you everything that you basically kind of need to do, and mounting it on your wall and going into your house, and your pass through right there as well too. You really can't overlook this. This is something that, hey Chris, welcome. Thanks for stopping by today. Um, you really can't overlook this step. This is something that you really have to pay attention to, and really you need to get this right, because it's gonna be beneficial to you in the long run, even if you never have a direct lightning strike. But having that peace of mind that's out there and doing this right. Now, one of the things I would highly suggest that you do with this is contact a qualified, electrician to do something like this, because they'll be schooled in this and they know how to do this type of install. Most of them do. So, if not, go through your local hand club, and obviously they probably have connections to be able to do something like that. But you really you want to get this done properly. You want to get this done right. You want to get this done by a qualified electrician to make sure that they know what they're doing. Okay, let's move on here. Plan cable management. Wow, that's a real understatement here. Label cables, and that's smart. Not only label cables, say at the back of the 7300 or the 9700 that I have depicted here, but also label them on the other end as well too. Have two labels so you know what's what. I mean, there'd be no question for that. And you can see that that's outlined right here. And they obviously they encourage you to use Velcro, which I do as well too. Velcro is so much easier than those plastic ties. They're plastic ties. Once you pull them tight, they're tight forever. I mean, there's no slacking on them. Velcro, you're able to adjust them as far as that's concerned. Keep power cables separate from signal cables. I mean, that's a little thing, but it's a big thing, because you can get RF interference from something like that, because you got to be real careful how you set these up. And this is a good infographic in showing how it's set up properly, how to do it properly, and just so you don't have wires and cords running all over the place. And it's done in a way that you can find what you need if there's an issue quickly, which I really like to be able to do, and document everything. Take pictures. This is another thing that a lot of people don't do, is when they do these installs, take pictures of things. Make sure that you know what is where, and you can go to it in a second, and have these reference pictures handy and available for you. Okay, let's go ahead on here. Choose furniture that fits your station. You want a strong desk, really comfortable chair, good shelving, really proper lighting. You can see right here with a large picture window, you do have that proper lighting, and a good workspace. In this room, as you showed when I showed you an empty version of it, was just incredible, the amount of room that's in there. Obviously, this is a bedroom that's turned into a ham shack right here, and you can see it's really well laid out, and you want to plan that way and plan accordingly. Now, thinking about RF interference, wow, yeah, reduce RFI, LED noise, router and computer noise, ferrites, and test before operating. You can see there are at least 10 different ways to reduce RF interference in your shack. Use a clean power source, keep power lines clean, manage cables and routing, reduce computer noise, ground everything properly, shield when necessary, isolate your antenna system, turn off or move noisy devices, filter your station, and listen and identify noise, last but not least, when you're out on your radios to do that. By doing this properly, you're not going to be one of those who's going to be posting in groups all the time. I have this noise. I don't know where it's coming from. Why is it? When you take these steps and do that, there's a quick checklist down here. When you do that and you follow that, chances are really good you're going to eliminate a lot of the sources of the RF interference. Like for me, for example, I'm going to have to redo everything in this room as far as electronics are concerned, because I have my router, my computer setup is here as far as that's concerned, and the access port for the router is like right behind the TV that I have over here. So I'm probably going to be setting up my ham shack in the back over there. As far as that's concerned, that's going to transform. My work desk is going to transform into my shack when I retire. So that's what I'm planning on doing, and I'm going to pay particular attention to this because I have some other things that interfere with that as well too. So, and it's a good idea to test your equipment before you actually operate it, and you can take a look and see if you have any RF interference, and that way you can nip it in the bud before everything's 100%. Plan your equipment layout. Sketch the station, leave expansion room, have an idea where you're going to be putting your computers, your microphone, and accessories as well too. And having some plan and forethought behind it is, one of the things you want. You want something where you can reach, say, for a mic here or a mic here if it's a handheld and not a desktop. You want to have access to, say, what I envision for me when I have mine set up is I'm going to have a laptop there, but I'm also going to have a couple of larger monitors, and then I want to have up on the wall a large monitor with ham clock. And ham clock's going to be a real adventure because of things that have changed with that. And I mean, I'm familiar with what's going on, but not 100%. It would need to help. Really would need a lot of help to get up to speed on exactly what to do with ham clock as far as that's concerned. But I have some plans for when I retire and get set up. But you want to kind of leave things within arm's reach of you. You don't want to have to go way over in this direction, way over in that direction to be able to have things. You want to have your microphone handy. You want to have at least your laptop handy. Because I have my laptop's off screen. You can't see it. It's over here. And then I have my two big monitors here as far as my, and this is great for my being, for a content creator. It's a great setup as far as that's concerned. But for a ham shack, no, this doesn't make a good setup. Like I said, that's what I want to do is have it. A lot of what you see right here is kind of like ideas that are going to fuel my shack when I do have a chance to get it together. Prepare for emergencies. Backup power, portable gear, first aid, spare connectors, and flashlights. You can see right here, this is just showing some storage here and how he's prepared for this with some extra parts in some of the plastic bins, some Bioenno radio or batteries down on the bottom shelf there. A first aid kit is in there as well too. Maybe some spare HTs that are hooked up and charging as well too. Just to be on the spot, and it's probably good to have some HTs out on that desktop as well too. I know a lot of guys have a lot of HTs and would take up probably a lot of room on a desktop, but you probably have one or two up there that are charging and available for you to be able to use for something like that. And of course, flashlights are always a useful tool to be able to handle that as well too. Make room for future growth. And when you saw the opening scene here, I showed what it looked like without anything in the room, and there were at least 3 wall outlets over there, which are fantastic. It does allow for that, and does show that the wall actually had a spot for coax connectors as far as that was concerned too, and allow for future radios. Right now our radios are evolving it's a little too slow for me, but they're getting up there. They're getting faster. They're getting more where I consider them very user-friendly. And you also want to be able to, bear in mind, the 7300 Mark II has an HDMI cable. So you're going to want to hook it up to one of your monitors. Obviously, it would be some of the monitors that are on the desk if you wanted to do something like that, as far as that's concerned. And have space for your amplifiers as well, too. Software-defined growth, SDR. And have a growth mindset, knowing that, it's not going to stay static forever. You're going to upgrade eventually. And when you do, you want to be able to be prepared and be ready for something like that. So, and I'll read you the thought down here. Ham Radio Basics thought: careful planning today saves time, money, and frustration tomorrow. And that could not be more true as far as that's concerned here. And then summary and final thoughts: plan first, buy quality once, and enjoy the hobby. One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever heard was from an Elmer after I got my technician license was, he said, if you spend money on anything, spend it on your antenna versus getting a top of the line transceiver. You can get a middle of the line transceiver and a top end antenna, which won't set you back as much money, but it'll make a world of difference. And that antenna, is proven golden time and time again, whether it's an HT or whether I'm doing QRP or whether I'm talking from a base station. Having that right antenna for that transceiver makes a big difference. And I think that's one of the things that I think people need to realize. And also, too, a 7300 and a 9700 are not going to set you back a great deal of money. They're investments, of course, and you want to insure them, which I highly recommend doing. But, you have basically everything you need in both of those radios right there, and it's at your fingertips. Plus, if you have a nice collection of HTs, like I do, you're really kind of set as far as ham radio is concerned. And I also have my IC705, which doesn't show up on the picture because obviously that's a portable kind of radio. And, but you can be able to get it set up and used for something like this. So this is a great idea. This is a great... really gets the creative juices flowing in me. And, I hope this is something that you guys found worthwhile and be able to use, because, being able to set up a shack is something that everybody really wants to do. Yeah, Cooley, you really hit the nail on the head as far as that's concerned. That is a great thought there. Thank you for sharing that. Cooley said out there to have more than one antenna in case of failure, and you really do need to have. And that's something I think, when I asked ChatGPT to help me with the PowerPoint presentation, I think that was a fail. I think they didn't add that in there. You should have a backup antenna in case of failure. For me, in my instance, what I would do is I would go out real quick and set up my Chameleon MPAS 2.0 and just get the cable from the existing antenna and hook that into there. I could use that as a temporary antenna until the permanent one got fixed. But no, that's a great point, Cooley. Having a backup antenna is really important because it can fail. And like I told you guys about that. Oh, okay, yeah. And it happens at the time that you least want to do something like that. If you know what you mean, my friend. It's out there. It's probably 10 degrees outside. Colder, too cold to go out there and monkey around with stuff. But yet your antenna fails, and you can't get on the radio. You can't talk in an instance like that, and it really kind of leaves you, in the lurch as far as that's concerned. I would probably suggest getting a second permanent type of antenna out there, and having some flexibility with your coax connections as far as being able to connect it is concerned. That would be my suggestion. Now, whether or not it would lend itself to maybe like an end-fed half wave instead of a vertical, I don't know. But if you have deep pockets and can get a tower put together, well, all the more power to you for something like that as far as that's concerned. So, but no, that's a great point, Cooley. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's important to do. Guys, I hope you guys, and I want to apologize for last week. At the last minute, I wanted to get something on the air. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to Mike K at MRD. I really like Mike. He's one of my favorite ham radio tubers. He's just honest as the day is long, and he's entertaining, and he has some great content on his channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. So, okay, that's good, Cooley. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's my goal as well too. Is at least have some type of permanent backup out there instead of just going the Chameleon MPAS 2.0 as far as that's concerned. But I want to thank you guys for bearing with me because I had such a crazy busy day. I didn't even take a lunch from work last week. I was so busy, but I did have time to get that together so you guys were able to get a show. Thank you for bearing with me on that. I really appreciate that. We should be good going forward for a while as far as that's concerned. As long as we're good there. So, Cooley, thanks. 7-3s to all you guys. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your week to spend time with us here at Ham Radio Basics. As you know, we're also on Build the Technology Reviewer, and we also are live streaming on Ham Radio Divas as well, too. So, and Ham Radio Divas, by the way, we've doubled in subscriptions since I started that. So that's great. And thank you for all who are watching us through Ham Radio Divas. We really appreciate that. And thank you. More great content's going to be coming out there. This new Zyeu radio is gonna be good as well too. We're gonna stay on top of that and get you guys more information on that. Guys, hope you have a great rest of your week. 7-3s to everybody. It's always a great day to make a QSO. Take care, everybody.